Hey guys, Ramsey here. Welcome to another video. Today we've got an early impression of a very popular and hyped Amouage fragrance called Opus 13. So this is going to be Silver Oud, and we'll talk about my first full wear of this, what I think about it, whether I deem it full bottle worthy. But first we're going to do an unboxing, and this I actually did not buy. This was sent to me by one of you, Justin. You'll see Justin pop up in the comments from time to time, and he has been following my channel for a while. He's been kind of getting into vintage, and he said, hey mate, based on everything that you've done for the community, all the time that you take, I want to offer you this, this bottle that I found. And I said, absolutely, I've been searching for this one. He got a great deal on it. He found a local perfume house very close to his house, actually a perfume shop, which here in Texas where I'm at, there's nothing like that. I mean, there are malls that I could go to, but there's no vintage perfume shops that I know of around me. I mean, I'd have to drive hours potentially to find something like what he found, but he found this shop that he claims he's been getting some amazing deals on. I'm talking like, you know, $2, $8, $12 for stuff that we're paying $50, $100, $200. So he found a legit place to really build. That's a fantastic way to build up your collection on the cheap. And so let's see what he sent me. I know one of these is at least one full bottle, and I think maybe he sent me some samples too. So give me one sec. I'm gonna cut this bad boy open here. All right, let's see. What's the best way to cut this open and not cut the computer screen again? And yes, I did cut the computer screen the other day. Oh, let's see here. I don't want to cut the package is the thing. Okay, here we go. We are in. We're in. We're almost in. It's many times wrapped, which is good. The bubble wrap saved it. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we got. Ah, beautiful. Okay, so here we go. Ready? Let's see what we got. First of all, we've got an Avon fragrance. Now, Avon is a house that I am very interested in because they're a house that's been around for a long time, and there actually are Avon fragrances that you can buy that have real Mysore sandalwood in them, you know, because they've been around for so long, and they were around when houses used stuff like Mysore sandalwood. And, you know, I think people immediately hear Avon and they just turn off. And I'm not like that at all. I'm very interested in sampling these because there could be some gems in here. I'm going to give them honest to God chances. So this is a Avon for Men sample set that he found. And contents are for demonstration use only. All right, 7 1-gram bottles. So here we go. So the first one is Clint. Let's look up Clint, shall we? Let's do this together. Man, I like that right off the back. This is extremely old school, very classic, but I really like it. One moment, let me just look this up here. Parfumo. Let's go to Clint. See what parfumo.net says. Clint Avon Cologne, 1976. Discontinued. Citrus and leather. Okay, I mean, just from opening this up and smelling it, it smells like, I don't know, citrus and leather, I guess. Seems like a winner to me. Old school, very 60s. You know, what was popular in the 60s? Eau Sauvage was popular in the 60s. I'm guessing this is like a leather, maybe Aramis leather Eau Sauvage thing. What else was popular in the 60s? I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I think this one, let's see, Thai Winds. Avon Thai Winds. These are perfect because I can do early impressions on these and, you know, still have enough juice for a wear or two. So these are perfect sizes. Let's see, Thai Winds. Yeah, you know what's crazy is Avon has like, they've got like 78 pages of scents. They've been doing it for so long. Thai Winds Avon, 1971. Floral and powdery for men. I mean, even this one, I like it just right off first sniff. I'm liking what I'm smelling. They don't smell cheap. You would expect them to smell cheap because they came out of a catalog back in the day. They don't. They don't at all. Let's see what else we have in here. Okay, next is Deep Woods. Avon Deep Woods. How about that? Oh, interesting. All of these are interesting so far. Deep Woods. Let's see what Deep Woods has to say. 1969. Earthy and fresh. Earthy and fresh. I like it. I mean, I like all of these so far I've liked, which is pretty impressive. This one, there's nothing left, unfortunately, but I can still smell it. It's called Spicy. I think I would have liked that one, too. Let's see what else we have in here. Oland. Oh, this is the one I've actually wanted to try. I am familiar with Oland. I think Oland is a tobacco-based scent, if I'm not mistaken. 1970. I think it's a tobacco-based scent. Leather, tobacco, spice. Yeah, labdanum, tobacco. I've heard of Oland. This was on my to sniff list, actually. Look at you, Justin. Grabbing something off my to sniff list. That's fantastic. Okay, Oland. That's on the list. And then finally, we have Wild Country. Yes, Wild Country. This is also on my to sniff list. This is probably the most popular Avon masculine. It's from 1967. Most Avons get discontinued. I think all of these in the package is discontinued, but Wild Country is not. You can still buy it. That's how popular it ended up being. It's coriander, bergamot in the top with lavender, geranium in the mid, coumarin, tobacco, and sandalwood in the base. And 1970 it came out. It's kind of like this spicy fougere thing, I guess. Old school barbershop fougere. I like it. I like it from smelling it from the bottle. So thank you very much. This is perfect. This will make great videos at some point. Now it could be in a year, it could be in 6 months, could be tomorrow, but those are going to make great videos. And then we have, so he told me he was going to send me this. We'll save the best for last. He told me he was going to send me this. He got a Koros deodorant stick, and he knows I love Koros. And he said, hey man, I already have one. I don't need a second one. Do you want it? And I said, absolutely, I want it. Absolutely, I want it. Because I'll wear it whenever I will wear it whenever I wear my Koros. So that's good stuff. A Koros deodorant stick. How cool is that? Apparently it was like in a gift set. Sanofi is the distributor for this one. So you can tell this is it's from an old set that he got. And again, he told me the price on this. I almost fell out of my chair. What a deal he got. And then this is a fragrance he's been wanting me to talk about for a long time. He's brought it up a couple times, and I haven't had a chance to grab a bottle or a decant or anything. And so he sent me this partial to talk about on the channel. This is fashionabile. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it is a popular fragrance. I have heard it discussed before. Let's see if I can pull up the terms. Fashionabile. Yeah, EDT 1994, floral and fresh. And, let's see. Mandarin orange, rosemary, peppermint. Geranium, lavender, nutmeg, cedar, oak moss, and sandalwood. So this looks, I don't know if you can see the state of the bottle, but the bottle, this is an old tester. And it looks like it's an older bottle. I believe this scent was reissued and re-released and reformulated in 2017. But it's a floral, fresh fragrance. Very 90s, but I like it from the first sniff. This will be a great summer wear. So yes, I will give this a wear sometime. It may not be till next summer, because I'm excited to wear my darker fragrances, which I love the best, but this will show up on the channel at some point. Thank you, my friend. Seriously. And then the big one, the one that I wanted, that I had on my wish list, that I was literally ready to pay big money for, because Manly Scents, who I trust, talked about it. I know Rich Mitch has a bottle, and this is one that has been on the list for a while, and he told me the price, and he told me that there were 2 at this place. He was like, do you want one? And I said, abso-freaking-lutely. You know, it's like he got this for like the cost of a cheeseburger. Well, maybe a little bit more, but not much more. He got a steal, an absolute steal. All right, let me get this packaging off. He sealed it well, which is good because it didn't leak. Okay. Oh yeah, baby. All right, let me get this packaging off. Hang on, because he wrapped this cap. I have to free the cap. Okay, the cap is stuck to tape. The cap is free. Ah, okay, there we go. All right, so the cap is free. Let me put the cap on. It survived the journey. So here you go. This is Valentino. I'll clean this off so it's nice and beautiful for you guys, but this is Valentino Vendetta Pour Homme. How about that? This is a very hard fragrance to find, and it's not cheap either, but he got a steal. He got 2 bottles. He said, I don't need 2. Do you want one? I said, absolutely. One of the advantages of being nice to people and also having a YouTube channel. This is a 50 mil. This fragrance is, trying to see the distributor. It is very small. I'm going to need a flashlight to see that, I think. But basically, Vendetta is known as, it came out in 1991, and it's known as one of the better lavender, oak moss, labdanum. There's a bay rum note in here, apparently, with geranium, jasmine, neroli, vervain, clove, patchouli. Very early 90s. I think Parfums International marketed it last. But yes, one of the better lavender scents according to people that I trust. So I am very excited to have this. I'll clean the bottle up and make it look all pretty. Next time you see it, it'll be pristine. So that is the one I'm most excited about. Thank you. Thank you very much, Justin. Seriously, that was very kind of you. You know, I know you've been telling me you found some treasures, and you definitely have, mate. You've got a good place. Keep that place secret, because someone will go in there and just raid it. So yes, good job building your collection on the cheap, by the way. And thank you for more stuff to talk about on the channel. I really do appreciate it. So let's talk about what we're here for today, which is going to be Amouage Opus XIII Silver Oud. Now, I've been wearing this all day. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 2:30. So I've been wearing this all day. And this fragrance, if you guys are not familiar with Silver Oud, it came out in 2021, last year. And it was a Cecile Zarokian release. And I got a little disgruntled with the house of Amouage in, the last year or two. And I just basically ignored everything that they did for a bit. So, I never grabbed a bottle of Meander or Enclave. I never grabbed a bottle of Silver Oud. I did buy Boundless, and I was promptly disappointed. And then I said, that's it, I'm out. So all the other stuff that they put out, I haven't bought. I just did a video on Royal Tobacco, the new one that is getting so much hype. And now I'm doing one on Silver Oud. So Silver Oud 2021, it's kind of this smoky, woody fragrance is how it's described. So let me walk you through the grumblings on this fragrance that I heard in Fragcom. And first of all, I should mention that Silver Oud is a Fragcom darling. So this decant I got from Moudasir. Again, I've mentioned Moudasir many times on the channel. You can find it for decants. He's fantastic. These decants he sends are amazing. The atomizer's awesome. He wraps it very well, so it's not going to leak, all that good stuff. So long story short, is Silver Oud is a fragrance that in many ways was kind of like a Fragcom darling, and that scared me. Because most of the time when there's a hit in Fragcom, whenever everyone in Fragcom loves something, I hate it. Usually, that's the trend, okay? And so I just really put this off. I said, forget about it. I'm not interested. I have an idea of where it's going. I don't need it, that kind of thing. So here is here's what people have said about it. They've said that, of course, it has this amazing oud opening on one side of the aisle. Then I watched a video, probably within the last month or so, that said that, no, you people are wrong. It's not an oud opening. It's a cypriol opening. And I will tell you that as far as cypriol notes go, this, along with Journeyman, which I mentioned right here, I did a whole cypriol video you can watch, and Promise would be my top 3. This would be in the top 3 cypriol fragrances I've ever smelled. It is that good. I mean, the cypriol note here in the opening is spot on. It's beautiful. And cypriol usually gives off this dry, woody. I think some houses use cypriol to mimic oud, to trick people who don't know what oud smells like into thinking they're smelling oud, right? And I understand why someone would say, no, you guys are wrong. This is a cypriol opening. I think the opening is both, okay? I think that there is oud in here. Amouage lists Assam oud, okay, as their oud of choice use, which is very interesting, just off topic, just something I was thinking about. Assam oud has been getting a lot of use in the designer fragrance game. I think I saw Assam Oud in Fleur du Désert by Louis Vuitton. I saw Assam Oud in Rania J. That was like a decade ago, though, 8 or 9 years ago. Now Amouage is using Assam Oud. I guess Assam Oud is maybe like the go-to cheaper oud for the designer houses when they want to use real oud or claim to use real oud. I don't know if Amouage uses real oud in here or not, but I will say it does smell like there's real oud. It has that animalic funk when you first spray it. There is a slight bit of fertilizer, a tiny bit of animalic fertilizer from the oud, and I get that right from the beginning. And that's why I don't necessarily think that this opening is mutually exclusive. I think that it's a mixture. You get both. You get oud, you get cypriol. So the people who are on there going, no, this is a cypriol opening, and the people on there who are going, no, it's an oud opening, I think they're both kind of right. I think they're both kind of right and both kind of wrong. I think it's both. And in the background, what you'll notice is when I first sprayed this, I like to spray a fragrance before I look at the note listing. Although I did watch a video on it, I did not look at the note listing today when I first sprayed it, and I thought I got tobacco when I first sprayed. I thought that there was this damp, dark, tobacco, woody-like vibe. And when I looked at the note listing, there's no tobacco. But what there is in the top is there is a patchouli note, okay? And that patchouli note, if you like fragrances, so the way that I like to think about this fragrance is if you like fragrances from the past, like for example, if you like fragrances like Krizia Moods Uomo, if you like Givenchy Gentleman, if you like those kind of patchouli heavy masculine fragrances from the old times, you know, patchouli gives off this heavy, thick, you know, this power. Patchouli adds power to a fragrance. If you like the way patchouli is used in something like Balenciaga Pour Homme, okay? There's a big patchouli note in here. These smell nothing alike, but what I will say about the texture and the feel and the design of the fragrance as far as Silver Oud goes is if you like those old powerhouse masculines and the way that they used to use patchouli, if you like Amen, for example, the old bottles of Amen with the heavy tar note that was big in your face, bold patchouli, I think you'll really like Silver Oud. Silver Oud is like a vintage masculine fragrance modernized. That's the way that I think about Silver Oud. And the patchouli note is what I think ties that together. There's that link from the past to the present. And the present is the Cypriol and Oud combination. Now, they've done something very smart. And there is a sweetness to this fragrance. And I think that's the reason why Fragcom, or the fragrance industry, has had such an easy time digesting this scent, is because there's a bourbon vanilla absolute note listed. And the bourbon vanilla is kind of like the higher end vanilla. And it offers sweet. The way that I think about it is it offers sweetness without actually being sweet, if that makes sense. So if you're somebody who has to have sweetness, if it's just a completely dry, devoid of sweetness, and you don't like a fragrance unless there's some sweetness added, and there's a lot of fragrances like that that I love that you probably hate, try Silver Oud. Because Silver Oud has this slight sweetness without being sweet. It has this, you know, it's like taking a shot with a chaser. It's a little easier to digest. It's not as dry and woody as if I would have designed this. If you would have made me creative director, I would have taken that vanilla out completely and just made it bone dry. That's how I like it, bone dry. This is, there's a compromise here, is the way that I look at it. And the sweetness, they did a great job of balancing it. That balance is important because the balance allows people like me who can't stomach the sweetness to still like this. And it allows people who are newer to this type of fragrance to also enjoy it and stomach it and wear it and that kind of stuff. So the sweetness is mostly kind of this bridge between the drier aspects of this scent, which come out in the base. Okay, so in the base, you're going to notice a couple things start to come to the forefront. You're going to notice Gaiac wood. You're going to notice birch, which adds this smoky element. And I think that might be why my brain was giving me tobacco vibes, because there is this smoke element that almost feels like you're smelling smoked tobacco. And it's the birch, I think. That's my guess. The birch or the oud. Maybe the darkness, the woodiness of the oud gives this, you know, pipe-like vibe in the background when you first spray, but it does go away. It doesn't smell like tobacco after the first couple minutes. And then the kicker is that there's a base of castoreum. And that castoreum is the second link. So I mentioned patchouli as a link to the past. There's also castoreum as a link to the past. So if you like the old school fragrances that use that patchouli castoreum combo, I mentioned one in particular, Givenchy Gentleman is a big patchouli castoreum, right? If you like that type of fragrance like I do, you have to try Silver Oud. This is, I don't know if you can tell by the way I'm starting to talk now, but I'm liking this fragrance a lot. In fact, I almost bought a bottle already. I stopped myself because I don't need it, but it's good enough to be bottle worthy. And the patchouli and the castoreum will remind you of the vintage fragrances. The cypriol and the Assam oud will add that Middle Eastern touch. So it's almost like, you know, if you're somebody that says Middle Eastern fragrances are shite, they are not worth it, they're cheaply made, and I agree with many of those criticisms of Middle Eastern fragrances. In fact, when I did my tests of Spirit of Dubai, you notice you don't see any Spirit of Dubai fragrances on my shelf yet. I tested every single one of the first collection, didn't buy a single one. They let me down, let's say. I feel like they really let me down. Value for money is low with Spirit of Dubai. Their prices are very high too. The original oud would be good, but I already have so many oud fragrances is the problem, and I don't want to give them what they're asking because I don't think they're worth it. I'd rather give Russian Adam that kind of money if I'm going to buy a real oud fragrance. This is worth it at whatever it is now, you know, $250, $300 for the 50 mil, $500, $550 for the 100 mil, whatever it is. The 50 mil I think is worth it. Whereas the 50 mil of the oud from Spirit of Dubai is like $600 at discounters or something. You know, value for money matters, especially when you're on a money is not infinite to most people, right? And I have to budget where I spend the money on the fragrances. And so I have to always try to figure out what is going to get me the best deal. Everyone wants the best deal, the best bang for your buck. That's how someone like Justin was able to send me this, because he got a great deal on it. If he was paying $200 on eBay, you know, that wouldn't be as easy to just send to somebody, right? And so, you know, value for money matters. Here, I think the value for money is much better than on some of those Middle Eastern Spirit of Dubai fragrances where I expected the quality and everything to be higher. It feels like they're really playing off of their name. They're playing off of the fact that they have the most expensive fragrance in the world, that kind of thing, you know? And here, it really does feel like you're getting a great bang for your buck. If you like those old school frags, I would urge you to try this. It really does feel like a modern, like a bridge between old masculine fragrances of the past and the new vibes, the new Middle Eastern vibes of a fragrance. Now, I mentioned Assam Oud and by Rania J, or Oud Assam, whatever it's called. And what's interesting about that fragrance is if you go watch my early impression, I did an early impression. Someone sent me a sample, kind enough to send me a sample. And I did an early impression, and I came to the conclusion that the oud, while it smells very real in the first half an hour to 45 minutes, maybe an hour, it really kind of starts to taper off and go in a completely different direction. This one does a similar trick. I don't know if it's the Assam oud they're using. I don't know why that is with these houses, but this does a similar trick. The oud smells very realistic for the first, 15, 20, 30 minutes, and then it begins to taper off, and you begin to get some of those other notes that come to the forefront. I love the smokiness. The dark smoke birch aspects of this is stunning. But what really captures my attention, and the reason that this fragrance I think is such a beast, is they've used amber rome, okay, which is like a synthetic. I think it's one of the synthetics, captive molecules one of the big houses own. Like there's ambroxanide that was in Uncut Gem. This is amber rome. They have all Ambrox, all these other they have all these different names for their version of ambroxan. And I think amber rome is one of those types. I could be wrong, but there's some big synthetic in the base. But it's used very well, and it's used in a way to add push. I would expect this to be I haven't worn this all day yet, but from one spray here at 8 o'clock and then one here an hour ago or whatever it was, an hour and a half ago, re-smelling the opening and getting the base. And I would think this is going to be a beast. And there's also a Virginia cedar note. I don't know if I mentioned that. So the cedar mixes with the wood, mixes with there's always some woody aspect. Cedar in the top, oud in the mid, gaiac wood in the base. And then you add that smoky birch with the castoreum and the animalic base. So once it tapers off, okay, you get that first hour, let's say, with the real oud smell. and the cypriol, very strong. And then once it begins to taper off, okay, that's where you start to get the notes that's where the fragrance turns into something that I think either becomes a love or hate for people. Because for me, it becomes a love because it turns into a bone dry, smoky, dark, fragrance with some serious push. I mean, if you can stand the way that something like, let's say, Amen projects, or some of those old school masculines project and last forever, you're going to feel very comfortable with this. It is big, it is loud, but the dry down here is completely devoid of sweetness. It's got that smoke accord, which I love, and it's very well done. Very well done. I'm sure there's probably some amber woods in the base or whatever it is, but it doesn't seem like it's out of place. Yeah, I wouldn't dock points for amber woods in this. If it is, if there are some, it's very well done in my opinion. And that's kind of how it ends up settling down once it gets to that base. Now, one thing that I do want to mention is when I resprayed it the second time, because if I've talked about how I wear my fragrances before, I do, the sprays here and on my left hand in the morning, and then a couple hours later, 3, 4, whatever, however the day goes, and I want to reapply, I will then do this hand so I can still enjoy the dry down, but also get the opening again. When I sprayed the opening again on my right hand, that is where I noticed that the opening half an hour has more than just a tobacco nuance. It has this chocolatey nuance to it. And that chocolatey nuance mixes with the oud. And at first I thought they were maybe trying to do this slight take on like Oud Monarch with the chocolate and the oud, but it's not. It's the patchouli. The patchouli just naturally has this chocolatey facet to it. Some patchoulis just act that way. This one does. So if you like deep chocolatey patchoulis, if you like those real patchouli heavy fragrances, I think you would like this. Because the patchouli plays a bigger role than I've heard people talk about on some of the reviews. I haven't heard anyone really mention the patchouli. But it plays a big part in this. And I think it really is that bridge. I think it's really what bridges the old school and the new school together. And I really did enjoy that. The woodiness and the smokiness in the base is probably my favorite part because I'm so at home with that dry, woody, smoky accord. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I know a few days back when I did that Royal Tobacco review, I mentioned that it is the best Rene Salman release that has been since he's been the new creative director of Amouage. That I thought Royal Tobacco was the best, and I'm recanting that statement. I'm gonna now say I think Silver Oud is the best. I hadn't smelled this when I did Royal Tobacco. And in fact, if you go watch that review, I make mention of wanting to do an early impression video on this one very soon. So I'm going to say this is the best thing that they put out. And I see why Fragcom hyped it. And this is why it's so important to test stuff. Because I skipped this. I skipped it because I was angry at Amouage. And rightly so, I might add. But I was angry at Amouage, and I missed this. It just went straight past me, and getting to try this feels like I'm really correcting a wrong. Will I buy a bottle? I don't know. I'm on the fence. I very well may. And the reason that I may is because now I think the new Opus bottles look like this. Whoops, they look like this. They don't look like the old Opus bottles, which look like this anymore. So this is Opus XII, which is also kind of a take on oud, if you will, oud and smoke. I like this, but I like this better, actually. And this is a 100 ml bottle, so I've got a lot of juice of this. So I'm a little torn. And see, the thing about it is it sits on a very small base, and so if it's very easy to tip over. And they've done away with these bottles, and they've now gone to the regular Amouage bottles, which look like that, you know, the just regular bottles. And they've gone to it with the whole library collection now. So they've synchronized their bottles, which probably saves them a lot of cost, to be honest with you. But I don't think they're doing 50 mils anymore. I think they're only doing 100 mils. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I can just go to the Amouage website real quick and check. Let's see. Amouage. Okay, let's see. Opus collection. It'll probably take me straight to that Opus Royal Tobacco since it's brand new. Okay, let's see. Order now. 100 mil. Yeah, they're only doing 100 mils now. I don't see any 50 mils. I wonder if it's like that for all of them. Let's see. Opus. Can I go back and search the old Opus collections? Opus XIII. Silver Oud. Yeah, 100 mils is the only thing you can get in Silver Oud. And it is $500. So I'm thinking maybe I'll grab a 50 mil bottle while I still can, because I don't need 100 mils of this. Would I like 50 mils of it? Absolutely. This is good. This is my taste. This is Amouage being Amouage. This is an Amouage to me. This is an Amouage. I know I've given them a hard time for not making an Amouage. And this is an Amouage to me. This feels like an Amouage that's true to its roots. And I like it. I like it a lot. Let's see what it says on the product description. So Amouage describes it as an amber woody, echoing life's most vivid and celebrated experiences shaped by moments of tribulation and strength. Silver Oud is an olfactive depiction of Stendhal's 19th century French novel, The Red and the Black, and its intelligent and ambitious protagonist, Julien Sorel. Paying tribute to the house's signature storytelling, Cécile Zarokian brings Silver Oud to life in a woody, ambery eau de parfum that showcases the most precious oud in all its glory. Inspired by themes expressed in The Red and Black, particularly the notions of confusion, passion, and destruction, Silver Oud is a manifestation of the tension between idealism and realism, the contradiction between thinking and feeling, and the power of mimetic desire. Opening with patchouli molecule distillation, cypriol oil, and Virginia cedar oil, confusion lies in the lack of an expected top note. Instead, a wide variety of woods come to the fore, announcing a deep evolution. At the heart of the creation, an exquisitely rich quality oud Assam oil dances in unison with a deep vanilla, Madagascar. So they actually say it's Madagascar vanilla, whereas Parfumo listed it as Bourbon Vanilla Absolute. So I would say it's probably Madagascar Vanilla. As a beautiful duo of contrast. Meanwhile, Amber Rome, a birch oil, Gaiac wood oil, and Castoreum leave dark sillage imprints on the skin, the smoky woody blending together in an endless finale. So there you have it. One of the best Cécile Zarokians I've ever smelled, in my opinion. You know, she did something dark and smoky with vetiver and papyrus in Private Label by Javoy, which does not get enough love. But I'm thinking I might grab that 50 mil that I was watching. It's worth it to me. At half price in the old bottle presentation, I might grab it. I might grab that 50 mil. The new bottles look nice, but not double the price. I don't need 100 mils of this. You know, I probably don't need 50 mils of it, but damn, I want it. It's that good. It's really good. So I'm torn. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yes, that's pretty much my my take on Opus 13 Silver Oud. If you have smelled this, I would love to know your thoughts. I know this is a divisive scent. I've seen both sides of the argument. I land on the positive side, obviously. And I can't wait to kind of dive into Vendetta. Thank you again, Justin. Seriously, and these are awesome. These will make great little reviews. Avon is a brand that's totally underrated. And of course, I know the one you really want me to talk about is Fashionable. Is it Fashionable? I don't know how to pronounce it. But either way, thank you. Thank you, my friend. Seriously, this has been very kind. I had something else come in today that I can't talk about yet, but I will very soon. As soon as it's announced, I will whip it out and we'll talk about it together. So there's good stuff happening. More new videos to come, and I hope you enjoyed the review of Opus 13 Silver Oud. Please leave your thoughts below if you've tried this, and I will hopefully see you again tomorrow with another video. Cheers, guys. Bye now.